right, I'm going to start recording.
Yeah, it looks like we're about to stream.
All right, here we go.
It's time for the Fantasy Football Guys. Two guys who always stand for the national anthem. Then after that, they're back on their butts. Here they are, Lyle Conkeel and Kevin Moore, the Fantasy Football Guys.
Yeah, that's right. We are the Fantasy Football Guys, Kevin.
Hello, Lyle.
And we are netcasting live on our own YouTube channel. That would be youtube.com/the Fantasy Football Guys.
It's still called netcasting.
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Seems like an old head
live
term.
streaming.
There you go.
Whatever. I like netcasting.
Really?
I don't know.
All right.
Does it matter? Do people know? Yeah, they do.
Okay.
We could call it Superman if we wanted to, and it would still be the same damn thing.
I'm pretty sure that term's copyrighted, but...
Well, I guess we have to pay royalties now. Anyway, check us out on iTunes, podcast app, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and other various and sundry spots around this wonderful wide world web thing. Al Gore's internet, basically.
Definitely,
is what it
man.
is. Make sure you check out Buzz's Barbecue. Go there. Check out his new sauces. It's buzzesbbq.com. Thing of beauty, that Buzz.
Beautiful stuff, man.
Also, check out the Fantasy Baseball Guys deep into their season. Check out the Fantasy Hockey Guys coming soon. I saw hockey yesterday on the TV somewhere, so that's not going to be far off. And, of course, the Tour Bus Confidential with Cal Conkeel. You can hear conversations with metal musicians.
It's pretty cool.
And it's very cool. And, of course, our own random show that you can find on iTunes podcast app. And
We should do another one of those. We say that every time.
Well, now we're doing 4 of these shows a week, so it's
all right.
Yeah. Well, what are you doing on Sunday? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Football.
Football. That's
Yeah,
right.
my Friday between 12 and 1 is open.
Oh, well, okay. Well, we'll work on that.
Yeah.
Coming up later on, Liza Loza from Yahoo's Fantasy Sports digs like 15-minute window out of her day, out of her week, to come class this show up. So she's always one to pull out deep sleepers and the like.
She sure is.
She does it, man. Let's look at the news real quick if you don't mind. But first, I want to tell you, of course, as you know, football's back, and to celebrate the awesomeness, DraftKings is hosting another free fantasy contest this weekend.
$100,000 in total prizes are up for grabs. No deposit required.
Just use promo code GUYS, that's GUIS. Put your fantasy knowledge to the test for free to win your share of $100,000 this weekend at DraftKings.com.
We know you love drafting, and every day is draft day at DraftKings.com.
That's right. Playing one-week fantasy football means no season-long commitments. Just pick up your contest, draft your players, and follow your team live.
Try 50-50 contests where top half of all entries win cash, or start a league with friends.
Whether you're a one-week fantasy rookie or a grizzled veteran such as ourselves, DraftKings offers fun, fair, free contests for you all season long.
Hurry to DraftKings.com now. Use promo code GUYS, that's GUIS, when you sign up and play free in this weekend's $100,000 fantasy contest.
This contest is FREE, no deposit required, so there's no reason not to play.
Again, use promo code GUYS, GUIS, when you sign up and play for free for your share of $100,000 this weekend only at DraftKings.com.
Eligibility restrictions may apply. See website for details.
Details.
All right, let's look at the news. It turns out that Pete Carroll likes Thomas Rawls a little bit better than Christian Michael. Turns out Thomas Rawls, his debut.
Listen,
go ahead.
Listen, there's a couple things we have to talk about really quickly. Number one, I'm not going to be like, hey, we told you so, stuff like that. But this is the thing that Kevin and I were talking about all preseason. This is what Christian Michael does. And the thing is, Rawls played really well last year.
He did. When he was up and 100%, he was kicking ass.
Yeah, he was awesome. So it shocked me when Christian Michael took over the starting job, and I had thought it was a mirage then, and apparently it is. Doesn't mean it's, more than 1 week, but at least, Pete Carroll apparently is recognizing Rawls' potential. Secondly, and more importantly, Kevin.
Yes.
Where did D. Will finish this past week?
Oh, good God.
Kevin and I, if you weren't listening to the show, made a bet for $25 American. He gave me 5-1 odds, so we bet $5.
Right.
He gave me 5-1, and I bet him that D'Angelo Williams would be the number 1 running back in the NFL this season. Can you just mute it when you're doing that?
No.
Just wait for it to come up?
I like the noise.
Okay. So, turns out...
No, and actually I said, no, I'm not going to bet against that. I said, I will bet you, though, that he won't be the number 1 fantasy player this week.
I said top 3, and you said you won't bet against that. And then I said, you said number 1, and I said done deal. You give me 5-1, done deal.
This week.
This last week. Yeah, week 1. Turns out...
I was pretty good up until the last touchdown.
Well, but they count.
They do. Yeah,
I mean, he was what, number 2 until then? Like, he was right behind
like 5th
Spencer.
or 6th.
He was right behind Spencer
Either
Ware.
way, not number 1.
Right. So, but then, he did score the last touchdown.
He did get that last touchdown.
Yeah. So it turns out NFL Offensive Player of the Week. And this is what's so frustrating for me, is that my analysis of D-Will.
Here we go.
Hold on. My analysis of D-Will was not wrong. Right? He's that talented. He just never got an opportunity, man.
He didn't.
Anyway, where's my 25 American dollars? Do you have? Oh, you're gonna pay me in change?
There you go. Got a roll of quarters and 3 rolls of dimes. You wanted it today. That's all I could come up with.
Wow. So Kevin just actually paid me. So I'm gonna have to specify in the future. I'm gonna count these.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to specify in the future that I want cash, like fold up paper money.
You can't specify that.
I can specify that.
Well, then I can't.
If it's part of the conditions of the bet.
That's actually
you lost.
legal.
You
tender.
lost. I know, but you lost, and you're being an a-hole about it.
I'm not.
Just to be an a-hole.
I didn't have a chance to get to the bank. I wanted to make sure I was able to pay you during the show, so that's what you got.
You see? Look at this. Come on, guys. What do you think?
If you want to give it back and wait till next week, I'll get you some folding money.
No.
All right.
I'll take it. I'll cash it in.
That's fine.
I don't got a problem with change.
Okay. Clang.
What a dick.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see.
At least he wrote it. Could have just handed it to me in a sack.
I was going to hand it to you in a Ziploc bag. If everybody watched last Thursday's game against Cam Newton and the between Cam Newton and the Broncos, and how many times Cam Newton got hit in the head, helmet to helmet contact, no flags. Turns out the NFL says Cam's posture while getting hit was the reason. Really?
No, I'm just saying.
The reason that Cam didn't get calls on those. Well, here's the thing: if you're in the pocket and you're still legally a passer, even if you're out of the pocket but behind the line of scrimmage, it doesn't matter. What the posture is. If you get a quarterback and get hit in the head, it's a flag.
The NFL refs and really their front office in general reminds me of a small town police department. That it's just used to being in charge of everything, and then when somebody questions something, they're like, "Oh well, they just make stuff up."
Right.
You know
it's
what I
like
mean?
Barney Fife without the bullet in his gun.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Some of the stuff they say, and the thing is, they have to acknowledge that their officials get things wrong. They should, dude. It's okay. They're human beings. I get it. They should come back and go, "Hey, yes, that was a wrong call." There was a terrible pass interference call in the Eagles game. Right?
Yeah.
It was horrendous.
In the end zone. It was
Malcolm Jenkins.
Yeah, coming through the receiver.
Yeah.
And like you tweeted to me, if that was pass interference, then the Seahawks would win the Super Bowl because that very same situation
resulted in an interception.
Resulted in the interception where the defender came through the receiver to catch the ball.
And the thing is, the defender, by NFL rules, has every right to go for that football. Every right. He didn't tackle. He wasn't playing the receiver. He was going for the ball. Anyway, I digress. The point is, the NFL referees make mistakes every week. Just acknowledge them. Try to re-educate them and move on. Nobody's expecting them to be perfect.
Yes, we are.
But no, I'm not. I know that issues are going to come up. But if you keep saying stuff like, "Oh, that's fine. It's okay to have helmet-to-helmet contact on Cam Newton because he stands uprighter," that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And everybody knows that's dumb. And it's sort of infuriating because it makes you think that they think you're stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But the bad news is they're probably right. Most of us are stupid.
Well, I mean, even if I am.
No, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about everybody else.
Gordon Vales says in the chat room, his posture equals he's friggin' tall.
Yeah.
I mean, so what? Helmet to helmet, helmet to helmet.
Yeah.
And it's illegal on a quarterback.
Well, that they should have been called because there were 2 fines levied against players. So one of them was probably called. It was the last one. And there was another one that wasn't called on the field, but a player got a fine for. So it doesn't matter what his posture is, Blandino, you asshole. He should have been flagged for it.
Yeah, it really angers me.
I called Blandino asshole.
I know.
That's fine. Let's see what else we got here. Mike Zimmer, coach of the Minnesota Vikings, may not tell his team who's starting at quarterback until Sunday, but Sam Bradford's taking all the snaps with the first team this week, so I think
I'd be shocked if it wasn't Bradford.
Either way, you're not going to play him.
No.
Sean Hill
and Diggs looked pretty good. So AP didn't though.
AP didn't. So anyway, maybe that Tennessee defense is just that staunch.
Maybe, probably not though.
One other thing here, and this doesn't mean a whole lot to fantasy necessarily, but in the days of the salary cap, the Saints have wasted over $40 million on 2016 salary cap. That means there's $40 million of dead money on the Saints books this year.
That is horrific.
Imagine what they could do with that $40 million.
That is horrific. Well, I mean, the thing is, though, they could probably bolster their defense.
Well, yeah, they could probably do that.
They just lost a cornerback with a broken fibia, and their secondary wasn't good to begin with. So sort of horrifying that they're going to lose a starting cornerback with their secondary being as shockingly bad as it is. All I'm saying is, anytime you're playing the Saints for the next 6 weeks or so, I'd be starting a receiver.
Maybe a cube.
I'd find somebody to play. Yeah.
I need one more news story here because Liz will be calling moments from now.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Demaryius Thomas sore, but he's getting some time in practice. Gronk back at practice, from what I understand, which is good news. And Jamal Charles is listed as questionable instead of out.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's been questionable, I think. I don't think... Was he listed as out last week?
He was listed as out on one of my leagues anyway. So there's that to talk about. And, I guess we're not going to get Liz.
I mean, we could keep going.
Somewhat unfortunate. You go ahead and throw one out there.
Browns defense is really bad.
That's news?
But all right, so this isn't really news, but I thought it was weird. I saw it on the TV today, and I see it here now. Tom Brady has never had a strawberry and doesn't plan to. He's never had a strawberry. He's like, I've never eaten one and don't ever plan on eating one.
Well, I can see... Well, God, the guy's like 40 years old. You've never had a strawberry?
A strawberry.
How does that work out? He grew up in California. Maybe they don't have strawberries there. Guys, do they have strawberries in California?
Of course they have freaking strawberries in California. They might not grow by the roadside and stuff, but they have...
That's what I mean.
Grocery stores.
Yeah, I know. But when I was a kid, maybe his parents just didn't buy them. But when I was a kid, we used to go do the pick-your-own strawberries thing. You get the little quart thing and you walk around.
I used to roll down to Florida, and they had the strawberry festival there. And it was great. You pay like $5, and they give you a bucket. And you go out into the field and fill the bucket up, And, of course, you ate half of them.
Yeah, you come back.
You put two in your mouth, one in the bucket.
Did you eat any strawberries out there? No, and you got red juice running all down your face. All right, so I guess we're not going to get Liz at the time that we want, but that's okay. She's coming on when she can.
She's a busy woman.
So let's look at the Bills-Jets game. It's a Thursday night tilt. Ryan Fitzpatrick came in. He didn't have all of training camp, so I'm not really going to fault him necessarily. But he is a professional. 19 for 35 for $189, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Ran 4 times for 15 yards. This is a pretty tasty matchup for him. Even though last week the Bills were pretty stingy against the QB, I'm not going to sit him because of the weapons that he has. He has Forte, caught 5 passes for 59 yards last week, and ran 22 for 96.
Don't doubt
So if there was any question about whether Forte is ready to
and not only
continue
that,
to roll,
his position in the lineup, don't
solidified.
22 carries.
Yeah.
Doing 27 touches. He probably can't keep that up. But
Powell had 4, so
right.
He's gonna. I think they're going to use him as long as they can in this fashion, right?
Yeah.
So Pat Fitzpatrick, yes, because of his receivers. Forte, yes. Powell, no. Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker, of course, are definite goes. And Quincy Enunwa had 54 yards on 7 catches and a touchdown. So I'm not going to call. There's other flex-worthy guys out there at this point. But if you're desperate for a guy in the future, grab him and put him on the end of your bench. He's, if he continues to trend upward, he's a guy you might want to look at. From the Bills side, Tyrod Taylor, for all the hype, did not do well.
Didn't look good.
Didn't look good at all. $111 on 22 tries, 15 actual completions, no touchdowns. Didn't have any picks, but only ran for 11 yards. I'm not going to call him done yet, but against his Jets defense,
not a huge fan.
Yeah, not a huge fan.
But,
so, if you have another...
If he's your number one quarterback, though, let's calm down.
I know. If he's your number one quarterback, that's fine. But if you have a number 1A quarterback like Phillip Rivers or like Matty Ryan or like Derek Carr, you might want to have a look at that this week.
I don't know if Matty Ryan's in that category. And
Matty Ryan blew the hell up. There she is there. We'll get back to this Jets game here shortly. Liz Loza from Yahoo Fantasy Sports. How are you?
I am good, guys. How are you?
We are fabulous.
All right, so I'm in an interesting spot, like location, so you might have some ambient noise that's just exotifying, much like Smash Mouth this particular call.
All right, you're either in an airport or a dance hall of some sort.
I'm in the closet of my hair salon.
Okay, well, I thank you very much for calling in.
I do appreciate
That's
that.
dedication, Liz.
It is.
You are welcome. That's the least I could do after forgetting 2 weeks ago. So.
No
That's
worries.
okay. We were like, hey, Liz is coming up.
We're quite forgettable.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you got for us this week, Liz?
Well, first of all, we like Eli Rogers. We did not like Darren Sproles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eli Rogers was a good call, though.
But I'm still not off of the Darren Sproles thing. Like, I just don't believe that Ryan Matthews is going to maintain a 22 carry volume. Although against Chicago, I am buying it, and I think he's an awesome and low-priced play in DFS, but he's not a deep sleeper. So let's get to the super deep guys. I'm being on Mike Wallace this week. I have been on the Mike Wallace hype train throughout the summer. Little known fact, he and Joe Flacco were assigned to lockers next to each other in camp, and they clearly clicked. Their chemistry was on throughout camp and throughout the preseason. Flacco only had eyes for Wallace, and obviously he scored, meaning Wallace, in week 1. I know that the team drafted Rashad Perryman, hoping to develop him into their deep threat, but the dude is the opposite of durable. I read today, in fact, that he had a minor calf injury in practice. So until he becomes what they hoped he would become, if he does, Mike Wallace is going to continue to service that role, and it is one that the team is clearly interested in flourishing, and his matchup is against the Browns this week, so I'm not worried that it won't happen in week 2. So I like him. He's $14 in Yahoo DFS.
Nice.
I also like Isaiah Crowell. Like, I do not believe that the Crow will fly come winter. I'm still believing that eventually Terrell Watson will be called up from the practice squad to replace him, but for the time being, he is the goal line back in Hugh Jackson's run-friendly offense, and he was the Browns' lone scorer against the Eagles, your team, last week.
Yes, he was.
So I think that he's going to continue to get fed. I will say this as a side note. So I looked at the stats, and between week 3 and week 8, while Josh McCown was under center and healthy, Duke Johnson was the third most productive receiving back in terms of catches. So I do think that Duke will start to see more looks with McCown under center and not be the afterthought that he appeared to be in week 1, but it's going to take a little while for that engine to turn over. And in the meantime, the Crow's going to get fed, and he is $13 in Yahoo DFS. So I like him. Third guy I'm going to throw out there, Kyle Rudolph. He's burned me and everybody else in the past plenty of times. We know because of his size that they call him Rudolph the Red Zone Reindeer. And Sean Hill targeted him and checked down to him frequently last week. They've got Green Bay this week. Green Bay gave up a touchdown to Julius Thomas in week 1, so the position is theoretically a viable one for that offense against that particular defense. And we know that I don't care if it's Sam Bradford or Sean Hill under center, they're going to need someone to check down to. And I think and I also think that Stephon Diggs is going to be shut down a little bit more because the Packers defense is more textured than the Titans. And so while the Titans just basically put a stranglehold on Adrian Peterson and let Stephon do his thing and don't really worry about the secondary, like throwing safeties in the box and everything against AP.
Right.
They're not. The Packers don't need to do that. So I think Stephon Diggs is going to show up again, but he's not going to have another 100+ yard outing. I would 70-something, 75-4-ish, 75-ish.
You're getting awfully specific now, Liz. 74, 75. Okay, let's write this down.
But I think in the meantime that Kyle Rudolph could easily see 6, and I think he's the minimum price in Yahoo DFS at $10.
Wow. You love you a tight end.
I do. I also like Matt Ryan for what it's worth this week too.
Really?
I know he's not a deep sleeper because he's owned in a lot of leagues, but he's not started in that many leagues. But to me, he looks much more comfortable in Kyle Shanahan's offense in his second year. He didn't turn over the ball. He's got a serviceable weapon, or a serviceable complement to Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu. I know there's some ankle issues between those two receivers that need to be worked out, but these are NFL players, and as Julio Jones says, you don't ever not play with pain, so I think they'll probably get used to it. And if Tevin Coleman is going to emerge in the passing game in addition to Devonta Freeman, then that's an additional pass-catching weapon that keeps Matt Ryan afloat. And, I think he has a good shot of producing not the gaudy 3-touchdown, 300-yard outing that he had against Tampa Bay, but his defense is bad, and that's going to keep him throwing.
Yeah, when your running back gets you 95 yards, your second string running back gets you 95 yards. That's rare.
Yeah, Coleman looked really good. I was not surprised by that though. I mean, he's a very talented running back, and he destroyed college. So if not for injury issues last year, we might not know who Devonta Freeman is.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah. But anyway, all right, Liz, good stuff.
You love it.
Yeah, go get your mani pedi.
Oh, no, I'm getting my hair did.
Getting my hair did. All right, well, enjoy it and have a good weekend. We'll talk next week. Thanks a lot.
Sounds good, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
There goes Liz Loza.
Calling from the
salon.
Man, she is called from the car when the baby wouldn't sleep.
Yeah, some creepy dude looking at her.
Yeah. I mean, she's just dedicated.
Yeah, she's a trooper, man.
You gotta give her
popping that all off the top of her head, too. Anyway, so Tyrod Taylor, not a whole lot of love there, but it's not time to panic yet. It's not a great matchup for him, but depending on what your other options may be, stick with him. I plan to in a couple of leagues. Shady McCoy last week, only 50 yards, did have a TD, but he's not the kind of guy you can sit. And, he's not trending downward. It's a single game where he didn't bust 100, but don't panic there.
Yeah, decent game, though.
Yeah, 58 yards in a TD. It's not bad.
Decent.
Sammy Watkins, once again, has a foot. Go figure.
Well, I read today that apparently he says he's good to go. But
right.
I don't know, for whatever it's worth, he says that. That doesn't mean the coaches or the doctors will let him play. He just said, I'm good.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens with that. Charles Clay had a couple catches for 40 yards. What are you going to do about that? We'll get back to more games here momentarily. First, nothing beats getting a good night's sleep, and the bed you're sleeping on is a huge part of that.
That's why Casper created the perfect mattress, sold directly to consumers,
eliminating the commission-driven mattress stores and their inflated prices.
Casper's award-winning sleep surface was developed over thousands of hours by a team of in-house engineers.
The perfect Casper combines springy latex and supportive memory foams for a sleep surface that's got just the right sink and just the right bounce.
Plus, its breathable design sleeps cool to help you regulate your temperature throughout the night.
The coolest part, though, is that Casper is delivered in a small, how-did-they-do-that size box.
In addition to that, Casper also offers an adaptive pillow and soft, breathable sheets.
Store-bought mattresses can often cost well over $1,500, but Casper mattresses cost just $500 for the twin size, $600 for the twin XL, $750 for a full, $850 for a queen, and just $950 for a king.
Buying a Casper mattress is completely risk-free. Casper offers free delivery and free returns in the U.S. and Canada with a 100-night in-home trial. Terms and conditions do apply.
Now, if you don't love it, they'll pick it up and refund everything. Casper understands the importance of truly sleeping on a mattress before you commit, especially considering that you're going to spend about a third of your life sleeping on it.
So, convinced? But it gets better. Get $50 towards any mattress purchase by visiting Casper.com/football and using offer code football.
That's football. Made in America, the Casper mattress was named one of the best inventions of 2015 by Time Magazine.
The Casper, an obsessively engineered mattress at a shockingly fair price.
You got one.
I did. They sent me one in the mail, and it did come in a stupid small box.
Right.
Like, it was ridiculously small.
And they popped the box.
It was probably, I want to say, 3 foot by maybe 1.5 foot. A king size mattress.
Wow.
Right. And I still sleep on it today. I got it last year. It's awesome. Mattresses are very, it's a finicky thing for people. It's kind of like food. Some people like it soft, some people like it hard, some people, you know what I mean? Somewhere in between. And Jess and I have totally different tastes, right? I like that thing like a slate. I wanted a pool table, basically. Right. And she's like, I want to lay on a cloud. But this one, we have not had any issues with whatsoever.
Nice.
And I had a Tempur-Pedic before that. And and I'm not making this up. I have no problems telling you, I happily got rid of that Tempur-Pedic, and I don't have near the back problems I had now that I got the Casper. It's an awesome mattress.
So check it out. You have nothing to lose except
That's right.
back pain when you're sleeping.
That's right.
49ers Panthers.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to find the tab. I'm looking frantically. Where did I put it? There it is. There we go.
No cough button or anything over there.
I had it, but I missed it. The cough happened. Blaine Gabbert. So from the 49ers side, the Blaine Gabbert show has begun.
Yeah, for better or worse.
Again, under the Chip Kelly era, and it wasn't great, and we knew that, and we're not going to start him.
They got the W.
They got the W against the woeful Rams, who opened up their L.A. stadium with a freaking shutout against a division rival, an in-state division rival.
I saw headlines like Jeff Fisher did not want to finish 7-9 again. Doesn't look like that's going to be a problem, but not in the way he had hoped.
Honestly, he's on the hot seat, dude.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Well, that's what Eric Dickerson said. You're in L.A. now.
That's my point. Yeah, I saw him too on NFL Network today. Yeah. That's totally true. He's in L.A. now.
Yeah, you can hide a little bit in St. Louis. You can't hide in Los Angeles.
No, you can't. Carlos Hyde, though, wow. What a big game he had. 88 yards on the ground and 2 sneeze.
I told you Carlos Hyde in this offense was going to be good. And you were like, nah, bro.
Listen, don't like him this week.
That's fine.
Yes, the Panthers got torched last week by C.J. Anderson and the Broncos. Not going to happen this week. He's a yellow light flex for me right now. Panthers have a very good defense.
They do.
I am not buying the fact that Carlos Hyde is a top-notch running back just yet.
I'm not going to argue with that.
Drone also had a touchdown. Keep an eye on him if Carlos Hyde goes down. Otherwise, don't. The receivers, really nothing to speak of. Vance McDonald did have a touchdown.
I told you, man.
He only
2 catches,
14.
14. Yeah, I knew there was a connection.
But he did have the TD, so there you go. We did recommend him to somebody, didn't we? Or no, we might have pulled him out for the dude from the Raiders. I think we did pull him out.
Yeah, Clive Walford.
Yeah, and Walford did not score.
He did not.
So we fail there. Anyway, Cam Newton, I don't know why these stats aren't coming through.
It doesn't matter. You're playing him.
Yeah, you are playing him. Jay Stu, not a huge fan. Did not have a great game last week. I know it's against the Broncos. He had 64 yards. He had 1 target through the air.
See, I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you. I love him this week. Play him. If you got him, play him.
Dude,
Kev says play him.
He's probably a decent play, but I don't like him in general. Not personally, fantasy-wise, right? Just guy's always banged up. Always manages to get like 45 yards or something. You know what I mean?
See, I say if you got him, play him while he's healthy because he's going to be down soon enough.
All these Panthers, nothing came through.
Yeah, damn Panthers.
I don't know what happened here. Anyway, Kelvin Benjamin, obviously, wild game last week, had a huge outing, and I actually expect that trend to continue. There's a lot of people that are looking to trade him this week. It may be a mistake depending on.
Yeah, well, I'm going to sell high. You know what? It may not be as high as he gets.
It may not be. I actually like Funches too in a flex league, like a 4 wide receiver, and a flex league, like him as well. Olsen is an obvious start at tight end.
Absolutely. Okay, so it's the Cowboys and Indians, Cowboys and Redskins here. Dak Prescott.
Wow, did you say Indians?
I'm sorry, Native Americans.
Yeah, Indians are going to go ahead and be in India, pal.
That's true.
Yeah,
I bet. Dak Prescott actually looked not too bad. Didn't have any touchdowns, but he did throw 25 for 45 for 227. So he did okay for a Rook's first game. Zeke Elliott, 51 yards and a touchdown. Kind of
wanted a little more out of him.
It was kind of hoping for, not D'Angelo Williams type numbers. That was for you, bro. But I was hoping for, first round pick.
It's first game.
It's not like he's a quarterback. You hit the hole and you run through it.
I'm not freaking out about it, though.
No, it doesn't matter. You're going to play him, of course.
Yeah.
Now, you told me that you didn't put my boy in here.
I put Alf Morris in there. Refresh the stupid page.
Man, seriously? Oh, there he is. Okay. You said that you heard Darren McFadden was coming back this week.
McFadden said, now this is him saying it, right? And I read this on an offbeat website, so who knows how true it is. He said he was good to go. But then, everybody else says he can't extend his arm and stuff. I don't know. It's confused. You know what?
I've heard he was not going to be able to extend his arm ever.
Like,
again.
yeah. Like maybe he's done forever. So please, somebody tell me what's going on with him. So I refuse to remove him from the list. Also, maybe the Cowboys are shopping
Probably
him.
because you drafted him.
I drafted him like the 13th round or something.
No, but still, you drafted him.
Anyway.
Alf Morris didn't look too bad. He had a couple of good runs, but really, it's the Zeke
the
Elliott
Zeke
show.
It's the Zeke show.
As far as the receivers go, Des Bryant is an automatic start, as you would imagine. Cole Beasley, dude, 8 for 65 in a PPR. He's, in a 3 or 4 receiver league, he's going to be my 3 or 4 in that.
What's funny is that Dak did not target Des Bryant.
Didn't target him a lot, and there's actually a news story out there where Dak and Des are like, hey, we're going to get this connection. We're going to get out there.
I'm sure they're cool, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Now, as far as the Redskins go, Kirk Cousins.
What about Witten, though, bro? 9 catches?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry, we're right by Witten. Yeah, he was as we expected, as probably everybody expected.
14 targets from the rookie.
Yeah, I mean, the standard line is, nothing is better for a rookie than a good tight end, and Jason Witten is that. So 9 catches, 66 yards, didn't get in the end zone.
Hall of Famer?
What's that?
Hall of Famer?
Witten?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, probably, right.
Yeah, I would guess. So, roll him as long as he continues to roll. So from the Redskins side, Kirk Cousins, 329, didn't have any TDs, did have 2 picks. But he kind of, 329 is great, but you want to put a couple TDs with that.
They really could have won that game. But, Pittsburgh turns out they're pretty good, too.
Turns out they are pretty good. Yeah. So this week, I'm not in for Cousins. Don't really dig either of the running backs, either Jones or Thompson. They didn't do much last week. So not really feeling that. From the receivers part, Pierre Garçon did generally what he does, 6 for 51. Deshaun was 6 for $102. Neither of those guys had a touchdown. And I got to tell you, for this week, I'm going to put Djax in as a minimum a flex, because for some reason he gets up when he plays Dallas.
Yeah.
He's had some of his best games against Dallas, so I'd sneak him into a flex spot at the very, very least. Jamison Crowder is kind of like Pierre Garçon 2, 6 for 58. So they're 7 yards apart. And if that's what you're looking for in a receiver, hey, good for you. But I'm looking for a little bit more at this point. Now, at some point in the season, you may love that because that's all you can get off the waiver wire, but we're not there yet.
Right.
Jordan Reed, 7 catches, 64 yards. Good numbers for a tight end. Like to see some touchdowns out of him, but in a PPR.
Or any Redskin, for that matter.
I'm sure they'd like to see them as well. But, yeah, I mean, you drafted Jordan to play first and continue that, I think.
Right. Going to be walking like an Egyptian in Pittsburgh when the Bengals come to town. Wasn't that the Bengals?
Bengals.
Yeah. Bengals. Same thing.
That was awful.
It was pretty bad. Andy Dalton apparently killed Harambe, because I saw a sign at the Jets game last week.
Yeah. Andy Dalton killed Harambe.
Thanks, Andy. But, dude, we told you. This is what Andy does. Listen, a TD and a pick, not great. 366 yards, though. Kid's got weapons, man, and he knows how to use them. Listen, it's not fantastic, but if he's your late round, quarterback draft pick, certainly play him.
Tyrod Taylor or Andy Dalton this week?
It's pretty close, honestly, in my mind.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Only because the Bengals are playing the Steelers.
And everybody gets up for that game.
They
hate each other.
That's a tough one.
That's the kind of game where you have fights in warm-ups before the game.
Honestly, I think that Dalton's probably the safe play, and Tyrod's the high upside guy. Yeah. Hill and Gio didn't have great games last week. Big shock. Sometimes they play well, sometimes they don't. I think they are both cautionary plays this week. Gio is going to be a desperation.
Yeah, Hill basically counts on TDs to get his fantasy numbers.
He does.
And they don't always come.
He had one last week for 31 yards. Again, it's one game. Let's not freak out. Yep. But how about that AJ Green guy?
Love him.
He's kind of good. So.
Yeah, he was my keeper in our league. Dude, I have AJ Green and Antonio Brown, numbers 2 and 3.
I thought I was cool, but apparently I'm not because I drafted Keenan Allen. So
yeah, you did okay until Sunday.
Well, I won. So,
yeah,
I'll take it. Anyway, I went 2 and 2 this week. So AJ, obviously, we're going to play. Brandon LaFell actually had a pretty good showing last week. Going to keep my eye on him. Not going to greenlight him per se, unless you're super desperate. Tyler Boyd, same situation.
Yeah, I'm guessing you have a better option than Brandon LaFell at this point.
Right. From the Steelers side, Big Ben, great game last week. Looked fantastic, other than the one pick, which was a bouncy ball. Wasn't a great throw, but, D. Will, whose stats didn't come through for some reason. Again, stupid Doc. Anyway, obviously we know he's the best running back in the NFL right now. 2016. You going to contradict that?
No.
Okay. So he's 100% a start.
Week 1.
He is. He is probably the safest play you can play in a Pittsburgh game this week.
Except for Antonio Brown.
I don't know.
Dude had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
Like 128
he's pretty
yards.
good too. I texted Kevin and I said I think he's a Hall of Famer already, and Kevin was like, I think I kind of agree with you.
Well, if his career ends now, I think he's Terrell Davis. But if he continues it at the level he's at,
I just think he's in, man. He's so dominant. He's ridiculously dominant.
he is. And he wasn't a high draft pick. His work ethic is just crazy.
It's just crazy. So you gotta love him. Wheaton may come back this week, questionable with that shoulder. Eli Rogers obviously had a very good game. I don't mind playing him in a flex, actually.
Well, his touchdown was kind of like off of a carom,
It
but
was,
it still
but
counts.
He still had 6 catches for 59 yards in a PPR. Those are good numbers. He had 7 targets. He caught 6 of them. Big fan of that. Jesse James actually had a decent game for a tight end too. Wouldn't recommend him as a necessary start, but if you're in a PPR and you're desperate for a tight end this week, let's say I don't know. Julius Thomas doesn't play. There you go. And you're desperate.
Say Gronk is still out.
Gronk is still out. Yeah, something like that.
I had that the whole time. I just wanted to see you
roll.
twitch a little.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Saints Giants. It's going to be happening in New York. Drew Brees.
Dude, play every Giant receiver.
Oh, yeah.
All of them.
You have to.
Is there anybody in the practice squad that might be activated? Because I might play them too.
The Saints, really, really bad defense. But let's talk about New Orleans first. Drew Brees, of course, 423 yards, 4 TDs. He's ageless.
What is he, 35 yards behind Dan Marino or something?
Yeah, he's real close. But
So, or is it Marino? Is Marino third?
I don't know the stats. So anyway,
What am I talking about?
dude's going to throw for 5,000 yards again and 45 touchdowns. So, yeah, obviously you're playing him. Mark Ingram had a pretty good game, 58 yards on 12 carries, 29 yards on 2 catches. Didn't get into the end zone, but that's just a matter of time. You're still going to play him as well.
Damn receivers,
Brandon
though.
Cooks was, he was 6 for $143 and 2 touchdowns.
Dude, so in the TFFG Money League, I played a dude who had Brandon Cooks, Willie Snead, and Antonio Brown.
Good God.
He started all 3 of them.
Of course he did.
Yeah, and I got torched.
What was his final score?
I don't know. It was a lot. I was real close. He needed Antonio Brown to beat me.
Wow.
But, he had Brandon Cooks, Willie Snead, and Antonio Brown last week.
Yeah, Cooks had a 90-yard touchdown?
Yeah, so that's 5 touchdowns between them?
Yeah.
Yeah, effer.
Willie Snead, dude, I mean, he had a $172 and a touchdown, and
So,
Michael
but
Thomas comes out for 58 yards.
I want to caution people on Willie Snead, though, because we've seen this before out of the Saints, right? Cooks is the guy. Some weeks it'll be Snead, maybe not, but they're not going to throw 4 touchdowns every week.
Breeze isn't going to throw 4 touchdowns every week?
No, he's not. He's going to throw for 400 yards,
Right.
but it'll be 2
or 3, yeah.
or 3, and 2 of them are going to Cooks.
He's generally over 300 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Usually.
So, obviously it's not going to be Snead for $172.
Just saying, he might be the new Lance Moore. Just saying.
Temper your expectations, but I would still, against the bad Giants defense, I put him in a minimum of a flex.
They played well last week, but yeah, okay.
Who, the Giants D?
Yeah, they were okay. Against wide receivers.
They were up against, a rookie
Yeah, no, I know, I got you.
cube. So anyway, Colby Fleener didn't have a great game. 1 catch for 6 yards. I'm not really feeling him as a starter. Everybody was talking about how great he is, but
Targeted 4 times, but he only caught the 1.
from what I understand, having a hard time learning the playbook. That's the first thing that would get you off the field. Best quarterback in this game, obviously, Drew Brees, but second, and a guy who you should start, is Eli Manning.
Dude, he is seriously like a super awesome roll of the dice play this week.
I'm not sure it's that much of a roll of the dice. This last year against this same Saints defense with not a whole lot of difference, threw 6 touchdown passes.
Yes, he did.
Right? Let's see. Carr blew
Great
up the
DFS
New
play.
Orleans D last year.
DraftKings, look for Eli.
Yeah, he's not anywhere near the top 5 quarterbacks. So, yeah, he's definitely a guy you want. Carr blew up this defense last week. Eli's got more weapons than that. Eli Manning, 3 enthusiastic thumbs up there. Rashad Jennings, 75 yards, running on 18 carries.
Wanted to see that end zone, man. But another great matchup for him, too.
Yeah, I play him. Shane Vereen, more of a third down guy at this point. So
PPR flex, I don't hate him.
PPR, yeah, but, I guess it would be a PPR flex, but I still think you have to have better options at this point. Odell Beckham, 73 yards, no TDs last week. Obviously, you're going to play him. Was glad to see Victor Cruz come back and catch a touchdown.
Dancing.
He did a little salsa. I don't know that I'm going to trust him yet to call him a plug-in, but in this matchup, yes, I will.
I'll take him as a flex.
Yeah, he's not an every weeker at this point for me, but in this matchup, I like
People
him.
forget Vic Cruz is a very good wide receiver.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
But he's been out for 2 years.
Yep.
I mean, I'm surprised to see him actually playing the other day.
Yep.
I like Sterling Shepard as well, dude. 43 yards on 4 catches, had a TD. Good enough for at least a flex. In this matchup, like you said, anybody who's catching a football, you want him playing. That may include Larry Donnell, the tight end. He had 15, only 1 catch for 15 yards, but had a touchdown. I'm guessing he's going to get some opportunities in this game as well. So, big thumbs up for all Giants receivers.
Right.
Love him.
Tannehill, rough game last week. Dolphins at the Patriots this week.
Right.
He only had 186 yards. No picks. Did run for a touchdown, but need to see a little bit more out of him. Would love to see him pick it up this week. Not super optimistic, but if he's your top guy, I don't hate you rolling him. Just don't count on him for like a whole lot this week.
Yeah.
Aaron Foster. 13,
Wanted so much for him.
13 for 38. He did catch 3 passes for 60
He had 100 total yards.
He showed, that he still has that burst.
He does.
So, maybe he can get, I would still stick with him. He's at least, he hits that level of flex worthy. But, I think maybe the luster might be off the air.
Off the Arian, yeah. It was funny because every time I switched over on, because I had the TV showing the Eagles game, but then I had the laptop open showing.
That's what I do.
Showing
that's what I do when I'm home.
The red zone
channel. Yeah, that's how I rock it.
Yeah, that's how you got to do it, man. Yeah. So anyway, so every time I looked at it, it looked like Michael Damian was running the ball for the Dolphins, but it turns out he only had like 4 carries.
Yeah,
my timing was just bad. So I'm like, he's going to have to be a pickup, but it turns out not so much.
Yeah, like 5 carries or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So I don't know if you've done this yet. Have you gone back to the? So Kevin and I own the NFL Game Pass, where you can rewatch the games anytime you want. Have you gone back and done it?
I've done it, yeah.
Did you do the 4 games at once?
I didn't.
Oh, man. You can do 4 shortcut games at once. In one, it's 4 football games on your screen at one time. You can do the long version or short. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's amazing. Because they snap the ball, they do something. You're looking at the other screen, they do something. You're looking at it, like, it just keeps, you could do 2, you could do picture in picture. It's fantastic, dude.
I'm going to do it tonight.
All right. Seriously, I had to pull my pants down. Anyway, Jarvis Landry.
I'm not sure I needed to hear that.
Yeah, but I told you anyway. Jarvis Landry, 7 catches for 59 yards. That's what he does in a PPR. It's a good matchup this week. Going to roll him again, of course. Nobody else to speak of, obviously. Garoppolo had a good game. Totally not going to play him. I don't buy it. So it bothered me that he got so much hype for that game. It was a decent game, right?
He did all right,
It was okay, but he didn't win, right? He didn't win the game. They actually. Oh,
the hell are you doing?
Is that my phone?
Is it time to go?
No.
The hell is that?
I got to get rid of that.
Yeah, you do.
That is actually a.
And you give me hell because the phone rings occasionally.
No, that is actually an alarm I set for our Money League draft.
Oh,
that
last week.
I accidentally put on for recurring.
Oh, I see.
So every Wednesday night it yells at me now.
What a dick.
So anyway, but he didn't win, right? I mean, they barely won the game because of a missed field goal.
Right.
So let's not, jump all over Jimmy's lap just yet. He was okay. We're not going to play him anyway. We're waiting for Tom Brady to come back. Okay. LeGarrette Blount, on the other hand, he does what he does.
He did all right, man.
Yeah, he's a good running back for this team. It's just a matter of will they give him the ball that week, and is he healthy? Apparently he's healthy now. Love him as a start. Edelman is a monster. Would totally play him. Amendola and Chris Hogan are kind of confusing for me. They get targeted a fair amount, but with Brady out, I'm not sure how much I can trust either of them. In PPRs, they seem like they'll be good. But again, each of them had 3 catches. Amendola was only targeted 4 times. Not a big fan of that, like, sort of lack of potential. Hogan, I believe, was only targeted 4 or 5 times too. So
yeah, I think a lot of it was young quarterback focusing on the number 1 receiver.
Fine.
And maybe play calling for that number 1 receiver as well.
Honestly, Edelman had a fantastic game. He's the guy you want to play. Actually ran the ball 3 times. For 16 yards.
Yeah.
But
just
I want to start those other guys.
Put the weight stamp on the other 2 guys.
I want to start Amendola and Hogan. Honestly, I really do. I just can't.
Then say it.
No. I just can't with Brady out. So, obviously, if Gronk happens to come back, he was practicing.
Hoping he does.
So if he happens to, good stuff. You'll play him, I think.
But if he doesn't, Martellus Bennett had a real big stinker last week.
Yeah, he was kind of crappy.
3
well,
catches
I think
for
that has a
14.
lot to do with Garoppolo, too.
Yeah, I'm sure that it does.
And Bennett's a good tight end, you know what I mean?
He is. He absolutely is. Chiefs and Texans. Alex Smith, one of the better quarterback plays last week, but probably got all those points on the free agent bench because not a whole lot of people picked him up. You look at it this way. He scored well versus San Diego. The Texans, of course, going to be much harder to score on. I'm thinking probably maybe you picked him up on the waiver wire this week, but chances are you have a better option. He's not going to do 363, 2 touchdowns, and run for a touchdown against the Texans more than likely. I'm going to not count on that. So I'll put him on the back burner. Jamal Charles, questionable still with the knee. Don't know if he's going to be out, if he's going to be in. If he comes back in a limited basis, Spencer Ware definitely has some value there. 70 yards and a touchdown on the ground, $129 on 7 catches. So, yeah, Spencer Ware, pretty good when Jamal Charles isn't there. And who knows what the mix is going to be when Jamal gets back. Chances are there's still going to be some carries for Spencer, some receptions maybe. Who knows what the split's going to be. Obviously, Jamal Charles healthy is one of the best running backs in the league, so we'll see where that goes. Not really sure where Shark West fits into this deal. Probably not well if Jamal Charles is back this week. So I'll say yes to Jamal and Spencer, no to Shark Kendrick. Sorry there, Sharky. From the wide receivers, Jeremy Maclin, a touchdown and 63 yards. Love him. You'll find somewhere in your roster to put that guy. Albert Wilson, no. Sorry about that. Chris Conley actually has flashes of possibility. 4 catches for 43 yards. Don't dig him that much this week. Kelsey, of course, you drafted him to be your top tight end. You continue to play him at 74 yards last week. Absolutely. Houston side, Brock Osweiler. He kind of had the day that I thought he was going to have. Just over 200 yards, a couple TDs, had a pick. Ran the ball a little bit. Fell forward for 14 yards. Can't really say it was a great start for him. They won the game. Okay, that's cool. But I didn't see enough for me to not play Drew Brees for him. Obviously,
no, but that Will Fuller though.
Yeah, we'll get to him, man.
I don't know.
Keep your shirt on. Lamar Miller, 28 carries, $106, did not get into the end zone, but I love the fact that they gave him the ball 28 times. They're obviously committed to the run there, and they're committed to him as well. DeAndre, only 5 for 54, did have a nice touchdown though. Obviously, you're going to play him. Will Fuller. He had a touchdown, too. 5 catches for $107.
This is how desperate NFL Network is. I saw today on their show,
like
Fantasy Prime Live, something, whatever, dumb.
Yeah.
They were like, will Fuller have more yards and touchdowns than DeAndre Hopkins in 2016? And I'm like, holy cow, guys.
It's propaganda, dude.
Let's pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
Kid's a rookie. DeAndre's kind of one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, so let's just relax, everyone.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs' defense is going to be, a little bit more staunch.
He had 1 game.
Yeah. And that's not to say he's not going to have more.
I think he's pretty good, man. He looked pretty good.
He's a guy you pick up and you play as a spot flex.
Right.
Nothing to be really
He may work into the
about.
lineup as a number 1 at some point, but it's not now.
That's not now. It's DeAndre. Definitely. Fuller maybe as a flex.
Right. Titans, Lions, Mariota. Couple of touchdowns, had a pick. Not horrible, not, outstanding, but that Lions defense gave up a lot of points. 35 to opposing quarterbacks last week, Kevin.
I think 271, 2 touchdowns is a pretty good stat.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not Jameis Winston worthy, but the other guy who was drafted, right next to Mariota.
Yeah.
He went ahead and had 4 touchdowns. So.
He did. He's not going to this
pretty
week,
good.
though.
Their run game, though, kind of shockingly bad again. Listen, Murray had 2 touchdowns through the air. Great for him. But 13 for 42 on the ground is kind of scary.
Dude, you know what? On that red zone channel, when I looked and I saw him get the ball and he popped it outside and lost 2 yards, I'm like, I'm used to seeing that.
Yep, there it is.
DeMarco, good to see you, bro.
Yeah, Derrick Henry, similar. 5 carries for 3 yards. Did have 2 catches for 41. And the one he should have been tackled for a loss and showed why he was drafted where he was. Had a brilliant run. I actually think he's going to be totally fine. And if Murray continues to run the way he is, I honestly think he's going to supplant Murray.
Start seeing a little more Derrick and a little less DeMarco.
Listen, Henry was dynamic on that one play, right? So we'll see, but there's long ways to go. Wide receivers, Rashard Matthews did not have a great debut. Tajay Sharp looked pretty good, though. 7 catches for 76 yards. Don't hate him as a 4th flex. If you have 3 wide receivers in a flex, you want to throw Tajay in a PPR. Other than that, I'm going to fade pretty much the whole team at this point. From the Lions side, Matty
what about
Stafford,
Delaney, bro? You got to have Delaney.
He's okay. But, until they get everything straightened out, Mariota was okay. The run game's so bad, dude.
It is, but you know what? If you drafted him to be your starting tight end,
I would
continue to play him.
Yeah, but hopefully you didn't draft Delaney Walker.
Yeah, maybe.
Stafford had a monster game last week.
Liz was right.
Not only was she right, guy threw 8 incompletions. He was 31 of 39. Like, who does that? 3 TDs, 340. You kidding me? Love him again this week.
Well, I was really hoping that with Calvin Johnson gone, like I said, he's going to spread the ball around a little bit more.
That's exactly what he did. Exactly what he did. Listen, Theo Riddick, 7 catches, 45 yards, a touchdown, or 7 runs, 45 yards, touchdown. 5 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown. Monster game for Theo Riddick.
Yeah, yeah.
Abdullah didn't look bad either. 12 for 63, 5 for 57 through the air. Had a touchdown there as well. It's not often I'll recommend 2 running backs in the same system in a PPR format.
Yeah.
But I kind of have to here, at least this week as at least a flex. Golden Tate and Marvin Jones, I mean, both had average okay games, but it seems like the check down was all about Stafford's game plan last week.
Yeah.
Either of those are okay in a deep flex. Tate is probably a number 2. In PPR formats. In standard, he's probably, maybe a flex if you're desperate. Ebron actually had a decent game too, 5 for 46, touchdown. Don't mind him as well. He was one of the top pickups this week. We'll see what happens, but this seems like Captain Checkdown, but actually a good version of it.
Well, if they're the better receivers on the team,
the
why
problem
the hell
is
not?
if they're always throwing short, the defenses will adjust to that. And
well, I think they took the ball long a few times to keep the defense honest. But if you can throw to Theo Riddick and have him scamper for 20 yards and get in the end zone, why the hell not?
Yeah,
right?
no, agreed. I'm just saying I don't.
And
think
that
it's
being said,
sustainable.
I think that the Titans defense is going to be a little more
they are a little bit
staunch
more
than the Colts defense.
A little
was.
bit more stingy.
Ravens Browns. Let's have a look at Joe Flacco here. 258 yards of TD. That's pretty much Joe numbers.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's a little bit better than Joe numbers. Usually it's
Slightly,
like 180.
But against the Browns, I think he's going to do fine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to recommend him in front of any of the top-tier quarterbacks.
Probably a decent DFS play.
But
I'll
know
take
what?
him in DraftKings.
If for some reason you were silly enough to draft RG3 as your starter, Joe Flacco is probably a good fill-in, and he's probably the best guy you're going to be able to get at this point. Justin Forsett had 41 yards on the ground, 15 through the air.
Nah.
I don't mind it. It's Cleveland, but I just can't really show any love for either of those
He's a
guys.
DraftKings guy, not anything else.
Forsett or West. Yeah, DraftKings maybe for your second running back. Wide receivers, Steve Smith, 5 for 19. How could he have 5 catches for 19 yards?
They were just all over him, I guess.
They were just all digs and outs. Who knows?
Yeah, he was targeted 9 times, though. So
That's not bad.
Let's keep that in mind. And Mike Wallace, Liz brought him up. I just want to point out, this dude's been sort of a badass, like everywhere.
Yeah, he's the fastest guy on the field wherever he goes,
Yeah.
and he just seems to have. What's his 8th team or something?
I think it's the 4th, but
A lot of teams.
Well, he was in Miami, then Minnesota, and then maybe it's only 3. Yeah, I don't know.
Wasn't he in Chicago for a while? I don't know. It's been a lot. Anyway, 91 yards and a
Toronto
touchdown.
Argonauts.
Yeah, right. So, I'm going to give the thumbs up to him just for the matchup and the fact that he's obviously the number 1 receiver on this team.
And Liz.
And Liz loves him.
Tell me about the Browns, man.
Well, here's the thing. There was one of the best guys on the field is Gary Barnidge. Was last year, but he was thrown the ball twice by RG3. Dropped one of them. Didn't catch the other 4. I can't remember I don't think he dropped it, but I think it was badly thrown.
Yeah.
Didn't get any more targets.
But he's got McCown back.
RG3's out. McCown loves him some Barnidge.
He does.
So people are going, Barnidge is through, 1-year wonder. No, wait.
Yeah, pause a game or two because
I think he's going to be fine. Now, it's not like McCall's coming in and is going to be Tom Brady or anything, but He was in this offense last year. He knows it well. He's worked with his team. So, yeah, I'm not going to say start Josh McCown, but the fact that he's there gives Gary Barnidge a boost. Isaiah Crowell, 62 yards and a TD last week against the Eagles, who have a renowned front seven.
They do.
Maybe not renowned. Maybe respected is a better way to put it.
Maybe, tolerated is a better way to put it.
A little better than that, I think.
I don't know.
Anyway, so, Crowell had a pretty good game last week against the Eagles. Against the Ravens, maybe a little more difficult. Ravens ranked number 12 last week against fantasy running backs, so may not be as easy for Crowell, but he's used in the passing game, so I'm going to give him a sideways thumb. Duke Johnson, on the other hand, in a PPR, I'm going to like him a little bit better. I think Crowell only had a few more carries than Duke did, so it's a full-on RBBC.
It's 12 versus 3. So that's kind of a lot.
Right. Well, I'm talking about touches, but still, yeah, it's significantly different. But I think Duke Johnson at PPR still has value.
He does, yeah.
Wide receivers: Corey Coleman, Terrell Pryor, Andrew Hawkins. I think Pryor really surprised me at how well he did as a receiver. And I actually, on the waiver wire show yesterday, recommended him for a pickup, not to pick up and put him on your roster, your starting roster, but pick up and wait and see, because I think he's done well enough and is athletic enough. He's going to actually shine there. Corey Coleman, 2 catches for 69. Terrell, 3 for 68. Don't really dig him this week, just because I think you probably have better options, but keep an eye on these guys. And I already told my love for Gary Barnidge.
Gary Barnidge. Go ahead and roll him, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Ask anyone. They'll tell you. Men look better when wearing a suit.
And a made-to-measure suit fits better and looks better than a generic off-the-rack suit.
It does. Indochino is one of the largest made-to-measure menswear brands on this planet.
And now Indochino is making it easy for men to get great-fitting, high-quality suits and shirts at incredible prices.
So here's how it works. Visit Indochino.com, pick from hundreds of fabrics and patterns, choose your customizations from lapels to pleats to jacket linings and more.
Just submit your body measurements, then kick back, relax, and get ready to step into the best, most stylish suit you've ever worn in just 4 weeks.
And if you want to make it even easier on yourself, drop by one of their 9 North American showrooms.
This week, TFFG listeners can get any premium Indochino suit for just $389 at Indochino.com when entering promo code GUYS, that's GUIS, at checkout.
That's 50% off the regular price for a made-to-measure premium suit.
Plus, shipping is free and your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back.
That's Indochino.com, promo code GUYS, GUYS, for any premium suit for just $389 with free shipping.
You'll never have to worry about badly fitting suits or expensive trips to the tailor again.
Get ready to look like $1 million with Indochino.com. Got to get a new suit, man. $389 for a made-to-measure suit?
I got one. It's a decent suit, right? But it doesn't fit quite right.
Oh, you bought it off the rack.
I did. And I'm kind of disappointed with it. The sleeves are too long.
Well, now's your chance.
Constantly trying to pop out my cuffs. Kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Get on that.
I know. Now I got to go back and find the doc. Okay. Seahawks, Rams. Boy, this is going to be sad.
It kind of is.
Russell Wilson, questionable with that ankle. Word is he is going to play. He says he's going to play. Everybody else is saying he's going to play. Mm-hmm. I would totally start him. I know he didn't have the best opener, but let's not question him.
Tyrod Taylor, you can get a little antsy on. Russell Wilson, you don't.
Yeah. Rawls and Kristen Michael. Michael actually had slightly better of a game. 15 for 66. Rawls was 12 for 32. Apparently, though, Rawls is getting the nod. Decent matchup against the lowly Rams, I'm going to say. So
they gave up 26 points last week.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say start Rawls. And Kristen Michael actually might be flex because the Rams are so bad. Dougie Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse.
Their defense is supposed to be good, but they weren't.
They weren't. They were horrible. They gave up 2 touchdowns and 88 yards to Carlos Hyde.
Yeah.
I think Rawls is a better running back than Carlos Hyde.
I agree.
Baldwin, Kearse, and Lockett are all decent starts in my book. Baldwin's an obvious one, 9 for 92 and a touchdown last week. That's great numbers. Kearse actually had a decent PPR game, rocking 10 points. Lockett only caught 3 passes, but, Kevin, he was targeted 8 times. So I like that out of him. I'm going to see him catch more passes this week, I think. Jimmy Graham is the one guy that I just got to say, shame, shame, shame. He was barely on the field.
I think he's hurt again.
He
still.
is,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, they traded for him, barely on the field, targeted one time, caught the pass for 11 yards, and that's it. He's a guy
One and
that,
done.
in my opinion, is almost droppable. Like, of course he belongs on a bench, but I'm just out of disgust. I feel like I want to cut him. You know what I mean?
Damn it, Jimmy.
Like, even as a second tight end at this point, he's kind of wasting space on your bench because you could pick up somebody
Yeah.
Anyway, from the Rams side, it ain't good. We're going to start Todd Gurley. I know he had a rough outing, but, let's temper.
Keep your first round
roll.
picks.
Going to go ahead and play
roster.
him.
Yeah.
Everybody else I'm going to sit.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, I like Kenny Britt. I like Tavon Austin, but I'm not going to play him. So
Yeah, so it's easy to like Jameis Winston this week. Dude didn't catch, but he threw for 281 yards and 4 touchdowns. Not saying he's not going to do well, but, dude, the Cards ain't the Falcons. I would temper expectations if you're playing him. Nothing but love for him, but you know what? Cards play a little bit better pass D than
they're slightly
Falcons
better.
do, yeah. Dougie Martin, 62 yards on the ground, 34 through the air, no TDs, but still that warrants more play out of him, so plug him in. Charlie Sims, 3 receptions, 32 yards. He had a touchdown as well. He's a guy you can plug into a flex and a PPR. He's not going to be a guy who's going to get you 100 yards on the ground, but his receiving will bring your numbers up. Wide receivers, dude, Vince Jackson. I'm a little disappointed in Vinny Jackson, dude.
Me too.
As big a day as Winston had, V-Jax had 2 catches for 18 yards. Mm-hmm. So apparently he's just not the guy. And he's a little bit older. So, it's possible that it's a time to pass him by. Mikey Evans, on the other hand, 5 catches, 99 yards, and a touchdown. Obviously, you're going to stick with that friggin' guy.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
If you got to start a Bucks tight end, it ain't ASJ, dude. I had 1 catch. He did have a touchdown.
But it was a touchdown. It was an awesome touchdown.
Had 1 catch for 30 yards. Cameron Braid had 3 catches for 30 yards. So, I don't know. Probably the best thing to do is avoid all of them.
I mean, dude, Jenkins was only targeted 1 time, and he caught it for a touchdown. Brait was only targeted 4 times. I mean, it's...
Right, but if you're talking about tight ends on the field for snaps,
all right.
Austin Safarian Jenkins was 3rd behind Brait and some Schmedrick. So, anyway.
The water boy.
Something like that.
What about them...
How about them Cardinals? Well, Carson Palmer looked pretty good last week against the Pats. He had 271 yards, 2 TDs, looked pretty good, obviously. So Carson Palmer, he's going to be a guy you're going to start, I'm guessing, against the Bucks. David Johnson, 89 yards and a touchdown on the ground, 43 yards.
Stellar.
Yeah.
Stellar play.
As advertised,
Yeah.
And anybody who had any questions, me among them, about whether Chris Johnson was going to take carries away from him, yeah, Chris Johnson had 1 carry. I think David Johnson had to tie his shoe or something, so Chris came in and got a carry out. Thanks, Chris. You're earning your mill there, Broheem. Larry Fitzgerald continues to defy age and gravity and everything else. 8 catches, 81 yards, 2 TDs. It was just awesome.
Sorry, I'm giving the finger to the camera because
What?
Supreme Clientele is making fun of my Brian Westbrook shirt.
Oh, dude, the B West.
F you, homie.
Dude, I got the B West mini helmet signed over here. I got the autographed. Anyway, Eagles fans.
Go ahead.
Damn Cowboys fans. Michael Floyd, 3 catches, 61 yards. I would continue to at least flex him. Jerron Brown, on the other hand, dude only caught 1 pass for 18 yards and didn't get a whole lot of snaps. I don't know if it's me. I don't think they're phasing him out. I don't know if it's the fact that he's had injury issues, what his problem may be. But he's just not on the field a lot. So until he actually starts playing a little bit more and getting more into this offense, I'm going to throw him on the pine, quite frankly. Jermaine, what? You were going to interject?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say Jermaine Gresham has been good in the NFL, has been decent fantasy.
At one point.
Yeah, those days might be over, though.
Resounding endorsement.
4 catches, 41 yards. I think you probably have better options
Again,
elsewhere.
sorry about the John Brown stat. It's the API we're dealing with.
I wasn't going to talk about him anyway.
Yeah, 1 for 8 yards. I mean, probably a decent flex, but at some point.
Yeah, but not now.
Jaguars, Chargers. This is going to be a barn burner, dude.
I agree.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a total shootout. Bortles, 24 for 39, 320. Just the one TD, had a pick as well, but, well on his way to being the same guy he was last year, I think. Ivory still questionable with undisclosed illness.
Well, here's the thing about Bortles, dude. In 4 years, 5 years, when Brady's retired and Breeze is retired, there's going to be that next generation of, arguably the best quarterback
It's
in
going
the
to be
NFL.
Carson Wentz. And
I think Bortles has a chance to be in that conversation.
I think he does, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's totally accurate. I do. I think it'll be Luck, somebody like Bortles, maybe Winston, Mariota's
maybe
probably
Mariota,
in the conversation. Carson Wentz, certainly.
Yeah, I don't know about Goff, dude.
I don't know either, but
we'll see
he's
how he
young.
plays.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, it took Aaron Rodgers forever to get in the starting lineup, so
yeah,
who knows? Anyway, so Bortles, you're going to play him. Obviously, it's a pretty good matchup. Chargers got torched late by Alex Smith, who's not the greatest. I don't know.
Quarterback?
No. He is a great quarterback.
Yeah,
but he's
over
not
300 yards, ran the winning touchdown.
But he's not a great fantasy quarterback.
Right.
Let me put it that way.
Not traditional.
And it still got torched. So with Ivory out indefinitely, I guess, Yeldon's a start for me, dude. I think he's full on green. Really like him. Robinson and Hearns are obvious.
Well, the Chargers gave up 27 points to fantasy running backs last week. How can you say no to that?
Right. But Spencer Ware was on that team, though. So,
yeah.
I mean, let's cut him some slack.
Fair enough.
Ware's pretty good. But I still would give Yeldon the full-on green light. He's a number 2, probably a low number 1 this week. Robinson and Hearns are both starts. That's pretty obvious, even though neither of them scored last week. They combined for 10 catches, 150 yards. It's what they do, catch a lot of balls like Kevin on the weekends.
Yeah, me.
Julius Thomas questionable with that ankle. If he plays, I'd play him too. Again, like I said, 5 for 64, a touchdown. Love him as a low risk, high reward tight end. From the Chargers side, Rivers only had 1 TD last week, 243, but I still would play him this week. Obviously, we have a lot of love for Phillip Rivers. Melvin Gordon had 2 touchdowns this week. I would not expect that again. Probably not the best matchup for him. I'm going to downgrade him to a flex, but in a PPR format, and maybe any format, I think I'm just going to just stop sitting Danny Woodhead.
Yeah.
We sat him a few times on the Saturday show. For other people, I think we sat him for Spencer Ware one time, which is acceptable.
I think that was right.
Right, but there's some other stuff that let's just shut up.
Well, the thing is,
he continually produces.
Getting 16 carries is almost unheard of for him, so I'm not sure he's going to get that every week.
Probably not, but he still caught 5 passes for 31 yards and a touchdown. And a PPR, that's money, dude.
That's top 10, man.
Yeah, it's money. The receivers are a little bit more questionable now with Keenan Allen out. And this also might affect the running backs. So we're going to have to see how this works. Travis Benjamin, 7 catches, but just 32 yards. You have Inman, you have Tyrell Williams.
Yeah, Inman moved up in the depth chart, but I think it's probably going to end up being Tyrell.
Probably going to be Tyrell Williams, but
dude had 2 catches for 71 yards. It was he did well.
Yeah, but it's probably Benjamin right now is a guy that you can maybe flex in a PPR, but that's probably it. Gates is a guy I would continue to play if you drafted him. I know didn't have the best showing last week, but he's Antonio Gates. You give him a couple weeks.
Well, now that there's a bunch of passes that have to go somewhere,
sucks so
some
bad
of them are going to go to Gates.
Sucks so bad,
dude. I had such hope for his year.
Here's the thing:
even though you drafted him, I wanted him to do well.
I only had him in 1 league.
Yeah.
But it really bummed me out because here's a guy who was on fire last year, got a lacerated kidney, whatever, fluke injury, takes him out. Okay, comes back this year, and I'm like, dude, he's going to be a top 5 wide receiver. Right? He was on fire last year. And, halfway through the game, tears his ACL. Just devastating,
just out
man.
for the year
Yeah,
again.
I just feel terrible about him.
It's almost cruise-ish in its
it is.
weirdness.
It's horrible, man. So, hopefully next year, dude. Like, I honestly feel bad for people like that when that happens. Not just fantasy stuff, just like, damn.
Yeah, I get you.
Bummer.
You talk about a shootout, Falcons-Raiders. This one's going to be, there may be record-breaking points scored in this bad boy. Matty Ryan last week, 334 and 2 TDs. He generally plays better at home. He's going to be on the road now, but still against this number 31 ranked Raiders D against fantasy quarterbacks. Gave up 30 points last week.
1 week.
Yeah, it was 1 week, but, there's things
did
are still out
happen.
there.
That week
Matty
did
Ryan, a
occur.
veteran quarterback with weapons like Devontae Freeman.
Tevin Coleman.
And then Tevin Coleman, right. And, of course, we know about Julio Jones. He's questionable with an ankle, but I think he'll play. Dude had 66 yards and a touchdown. Mohamed Sanu, which was one of my waiver wire pickups, 5 for 80 yards last week and a touchdown. Those guys on the outside are going to be doing well. Plus, like I said, Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman. I'm going to give thumbs up to both of those guys, whether it's flex, RB2, RB3, whatever, find a place for them. And the same with the wide receivers, find a place for them to go. Jacob Tammy actually has some value in this game. 6 for 51 last week. If you need a tight end to fill in for Gronk again or somebody else who sucked, like maybe that Walford guy we were talking about.
He had 3 catches or something.
Dude had 3 for 25. So, anyway, so Jacob Tammy may be a guy you look for. On the other side, Derek Carr had a great game last week as well, 319 yards and a TD. So it worked pretty well for him. Yeah, and he's probably a pretty good option this week as well. Falcons coughed up 4 TDs to Jameis last week. So I dig Carr because he also has weapons. Latavius Murray, only 59 yards on the ground last week, but a touchdown. Did catch a ball. And a guy named Jalen Richard, 3 for 84 and a TD. Also,
he had the one big run.
He did, but they count.
They do.
So obviously, Latavius Murray, thumbs up for him. Jalen Richard, like I said in the waiver wire show yesterday, just plug him on the end of your bench.
He's a low pickup. Yeah,
he is. It's.
But the receivers, dude, they're dynamite.
Cooper, buck 37 on 6. Michael Crabtree, 87 on 7.
Plus had the 2-point.
He did
conversion.
And there's other guys. Roberts is maybe worthy for plugging at the end of your bench just to see.
Yeah.
And Clive Walford, they probably have better options, but in this matchup, dude, I would consider these guys if I had them. I may not pick them up to put them into this game, but if they're sitting there, I'd probably consider them.
Right, Colts, Broncos. Speaking of better options, you're not going to have many. Than Andrew Luck. I know the Broncos were number 1 against the QB last year, but last week they gave up 20 to Cam. Luck's pretty good, threw 4 TDs and 385 last week.
That's pretty special.
I think he's healthy. He was the other guy who had a lacerated kidney last year, by the way, Kevin.
Yeah. Two in 1 year, that's odd.
Yeah, missed the last 7 games of the season or something like that.
Yeah.
It happened in week 9.
But wasn't great before that either. So.
He didn't have the best season, but he started out pretty good here. Showed that he's still damn good. The running backs I'm still pretty shady about. Frank Gore, 14 for 59. 4 catches. Durbin's there existing. The wide receivers is where it's at. And honestly, I would start all 3 of them in pretty much PPR formats. Only in standard, it would be Hilton, maybe Moncrief. But all of them had good games. Hilton was 6 for 79. Moncrief was 6 for 64 and a touchdown. Philip Dorsett had 4 for 94. So I actually like all of them.
Yeah, I did too.
We
I
talked
actually
a lot
own
about,
a couple of them in leagues.
Right. We talked a lot about in the offseason about Dwayne Allen, and we often do, as he's pretty good. He did catch 4 passes for 53 yards and a touchdown. But the shock of the week was Jack Doyle.
I know.
Who? Yeah, 3 catches, 35 yards, and dose TDs.
I thought you were going to try a Spanish word for TDs.
No.
Anyway, the fact is the guy's he's tall, he's huge, he gets up high, and he's just a red zone ball hawk.
So is he Rudolph the Red Zone Reindeer? It's the worst nickname ever.
It was pretty bad.
So cheesy. From the Denver side, Trevor Siemian.
So would you start both of those guys?
No, I would start Dwayne Allen. I'm going to wait on Jack Doyle.
Yeah, I want to see more than a game.
Right. Siemian, we're not going to play, although he was serviceable. At times. Totally not going to play him. C.J. Anderson, though, again, I have a whole game that didn't bring in stats.
Dude, like I tweeted last week, all C.J. Anderson owners from last year were pissed. In fact, young James Boyd producer, he had C.J. Anderson all last year, didn't get him any points. He sucked for him. The guy who was playing last week had C.J. Anderson, blew up and beat James.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah.
C.J. was brilliant.
He was cursing the entire game.
He showed why he's worthy of a high draft pick in fantasy leagues and why he's still the starting running back in Denver. And honestly, he showed that against a very formidable defense.
He did. Devontae Booker got 5 carries and didn't make anything out of him. I think it's going to be C.J. left, C.J. right, C.J. up the middle.
Demarius is banged up. Obviously, if he's a play, you're going to play him. Same with Manny Sanders. These guys are PPR monsters. Virgil Green's a guy that confuses me. Caught 4 of 5 targets, okay, but it's only 28 yards. Not great. it's a guy on a Denver offense that I want to play tight end. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I think we're not going to be playing him much.
Wait and see on that guy.
Well, or just not.
We're just not see at all. Anyway, Packers Vikes. It's going to be NFC North tilt. As they say.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, you're playing him. He could have a broken arm, but if he was starting, you'd have to put him in. You just have to.
Didn't have a great game last week though.
He didn't.
It was okay.
Didn't bust 200. Did have two
Well, he had
TDs.
199. It's close enough.
Well, he still didn't bust 200.
Yeah, bust his balls about a yard. 3 feet, dude.
Okay, he did have 16 yards running and a TD there
you
too.
go.
So okay,
3 touchdowns, 200 yards. Okay.
Yeah, I'll call
but
that
it
pretty
wasn't.
good.
It wasn't a huge game.
it's not Aaron Rodgers-ish, but it's good enough. So I think we should continue to stick with him for this week.
You think?
Eddie Lacy only got 14 carries last week, but did have over 4 yards per carry.
Still,
So I'm going to call him, maybe a squinty-eyed start.
just bothers me, man.
He
It bothers
does.
me a little
He
bit.
does. But they're going up against the Vikes, who gave up 21 points last week to fantasy running backs. Obviously Starks is in there occasionally. He got 4 carries, but it's going to be Eddie Lacy. I want to see him get more than 14 carries, but that's the play calling the way they do it in Green Bay. So we'll see. But I'm still not ready to give up on him yet. Randall Cobb didn't have a TD last week, but Jordy Nelson and Devontae Adams did. It was Nelson for 32, Devontae for 50. Cobb did have 6 catches for 57. I'm going to say play all of them. I mean, it's not a
Honestly,
great
I don't
matchup.
hate it. I think Cobb and Nelson were targeted 8 and 9 times respectively, and Devontae Adams was targeted 7 times. So
Pretty even.
yeah,
That's what Rodgers does. He
Spreading
spreads the
it
ball around. So, yeah, I'd play all of them. Richard Rodgers only had 1 catch for 22 yards. But, he's the kind of guy who can have a big game one week and then disappear the next. So, probably a better option for you there. From the Minnesota side, Sammy Bradford, no way in hell I'm playing him this week. Maybe never.
Or Sean Hill if Sean Hill happens to play.
Yeah, I think you have better options there. AP up against Tennessee's defense last week. Shut him down, had 31 yards on 19 carries. Can't remember the last time he didn't play well. And there's people going, well, maybe Peterson's done.
He's done.
I don't think so.
I got people telling me Gurley's over. So
Well, people are idiots. Not you guys listening or watching. Not you guys, but everybody else.
everybody calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I would continue to play Adrian. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's see. As far as the receivers go, Stephon Diggs busted out for 103 yards and 7 catches. He's emerging there as the top dog.
Yeah, he's the guy.
He's the guy. So
pretty much
I
it.
continue to play him. I mean, the quarterback situation there is a little bit weird, but he gets targeted a lot and he catches them. So, temper your expectations. He's not a wide receiver 1. He's probably more like a wide receiver 3 at this point. And Liz mentioned Rudolph the Red Zone Reindeer. 4 for 65.
Actually, kind of an awesome nickname.
Well, yeah, it's better than yours, which is asshat. So
Right, happens. Dude, game of the week.
yeah,
Repeat of the 1984 Fog Bowl. Eagles at the Bears.
Meltzer on the sideline. There's a football game happening here. I know you can't see it, but they're playing.
But it's happening. Anyway, Eagles, Bears, Carson Wentz, clearly reincarnate of Peyton Manning's career. He's going to be, they're already minting his bust for Canton.
Well, you know what, dude? His jersey, #1 selling jersey.
Is it really?
Week. Yeah,
it beat Kaepernick?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Kaepernick was #1 for a while.
And you know what else? Wentz's first game as a starter was a hell of a lot better than Manning's first game as a starter.
It was, but I've seen a lot of stats about people's first games, and it really
now there's some film for the Bears to watch.
It really doesn't matter, right? They can watch that, figure him out. But honestly, you want to see that out of a rookie. He looked pretty good. He had 278 and 2 TDs.
Yeah,
We're not starting him.
No, it didn't look like it was too big for him. So Lyle and I are hopeful for the future, but no way in hell you play him.
Everybody calm down. Listen, I've seen a lot of good games out of first-time Eagles quarterbacks over the past few years. Bobby Hoying. Who's number 4?
Oh, Captain Checkdown. Trent, what's his
No.
Yeah, the guy we shipped off to Arizona.
Yeah.
What was that guy's name?
I can't even remember. So there
we
was
hate it so much.
Foles was there. That dude who was number 4, I can't even remember his name. There's been a lot of them.
There has been.
Right. So I remember a buddy bought a jersey of that dude. And
Was it Kevin somebody?
It might have been Kevin something. I don't remember. You'll figure it out. Anyway, so Wentz is a no-go. Ryan Matthews, 22 carries for 77 yards and a snee last week. Absolutely love that. Going to go ahead and roll him again this week as a running back too, probably. Sproles.
Kevin Cobb.
Kevin Cobb. That's what it was. Yeah. Dude, he looked great.
He did.
You know? But no thanks. Sproles, I agree with Liz. First of all, the dude's he's like the ageless wonder, right? Almost ran a punt back last week, had some really good plays, but only ended up with like 36 yards. So not a guy we're going to play in fantasy. Still don't know how any team ever let him go because he's a valuable resource.
He is.
Jordan Matthews, 7 catches, 114 yards and a touchdown. Still has a bit of the dropsies. Actually, I think he dropped the most passes in college football.
I don't know, but I tweeted out right after I said Carson Wentz's first pass in the NFL dropped by Jordan Matthews.
But, he did catch that first touchdown, though.
He did.
So,
and you know what? He's a low number 1, high number 2 wide receiver.
He is, and so I definitely start him. Aguilar actually had 4 catches for 57 yards and a touchdown. Showed some really elite speed. It was a go route, though.
So that's what he does.
Yeah, I know. So that's what they got to do with him.
I put him on the waiver pickup.
Green Beckham I would wait on. We're not going to play him. Zach Ertz is questionable with those ribs. If he plays, I would play him. If he doesn't play, I'd play Brent Selleck.
Yeah, there's also the other kid who's...
but it's Selleck.
It's going to be Selleck. He's going to start.
Yeah. Selleck's too good of a blocker not to be in. If Zerk is out, if Ertz is out, Selleck is going to play most of the game.
Dude, he has a displaced rib. That means his rib came loose from the cartilage.
Yeah.
That's
They're saying
nasty business.
He might play. So he was really good in the PPR and made a stellar catch.
Well, maybe they'll just staple it in.
Which was the first reception.
It was.
Of course.
Staple it in, give him a shot of Novocaine, get on the field, young man.
From the Bears side, it's old Jay Cutler. And the Eagles played really well against RG3 last week. Unfortunately, not everybody is as bad as the Browns, so I would not recommend.
Actually, they are. The Bears, pretty bad.
Maybe. Yeah. But I'm not saying that you should totally pine Jay Cutler if he's your quarterback. He shouldn't be.
No, dude, he's available on every waiver wire on the planet.
You think he is?
I do. Except for maybe in the greater Chicagoland area.
He only had a TD and a pick last week, 216. Probably not good. But I will say this. I think he's going to be middle of the pack in terms of fantasy quarterbacks this week. Langford didn't have a great game last week, but he did have a touchdown. It's not a stellar matchup for him. The Eagles front seven is actually pretty good, but I think you still continue to ride him. He's again, meets that bar of the flex kind of guy. So
number 2 or a flex.
Fit him into your lineup. I think you're probably going to play Alshon Jeffrey.
I think so.
He's kind of good. Eddie Royal,
dude, I was shocked at how low Alshon Jeffrey was going in drafts. He was like sometimes last into the 3rd round.
Yeah, he's really good. Eddie Royal is a guy I would play too in a flex, especially in PPR format. Zach Miller, probably not so much. Kevin White, we need to wait on. And those beat 'em games, bitches.
Yeah, man, football's back, and to celebrate the awesomeness, DraftKings is hosting another free fantasy contest this weekend.
Yes, they are, Kevin. $100,000 in total prizes are up for grabs. No deposit necessary.
Just use this here promo code. It's GUIS. Guys, put in your fantasy knowledge to the test for free this weekend to win your share of $100,000 this weekend at DraftKings.com.
We know you love drafting, and every day is draft day at DraftKings.com.
Playing 1 week fantasy football means no season-long commitments. Just pick up your contest, draft your players, and follow your team live.
Try the 50-50 contest where top half of all entries win cash.
That's
or
cool.
Start a league with friends.
Yeah, that's fun too. Whether you're a 1 week fantasy rookie or a grizzled veteran, DraftKings offers fun, fair, free contests for you all season long.
Hurry now to DraftKings.com. Use promo code GUYS, G-U-I-S, when you sign up and play free in this weekend's $100,000 fantasy contest.
You heard right. The contest is free, no deposit required, so there's no reason not to play.
Again, use promo code GUYS, G-U-I-S, when you play and sign up for free for your share of $100,000 this weekend. Only at DraftKings.com.
Eligibility restrictions may apply. See website for details. That sounded almost official.
Yeah, it was kind of horrible, too.
Yeah, well.
Miguel says, don't diss my Bears, bro. You know what? F your Bears.
Your Bears suck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude. Actually,
you only won in 85 because of the Fog Bowl, pal.
Nah, dude. 85. It wasn't.
Was that 84? Was that 86? I can't remember. I was a little kid.
No, they didn't play the Eagles in '85.
They went to the Super Bowl that year, didn't they?
Yeah, but they didn't play the Eagles in the play. If they did play them, it wasn't the Fog Bowl. I think the Fog Bowl was early '90s. It was like '92.
No, it was in the 80s.
No,
it was
Fog
totally in the 80s.
Fog Bowl was not in the '80s. Go ahead and effort that. I think the Fog Bowl was early '90s, '92, '93.
American football, was it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you were like
December
5.
31st, 1988. So I was wrong. And it was against the Chicago Bears. So
I know it was against the Chicago Bears.
So it was 88. I was off by 3 years.
You still suck.
All right.
Postal Joe says, "Greetings from Detroit, gents. I know this is week late,
20-12.
but on the what are you talking about?"
I'm talking about football.
Postal Joe says, "Greetings from Detroit, gents. I know this is a week late, but on the 8th, Florio reported he believes Beast Mode may be interested in returning to the league by week 4 or 5. Your thoughts on that as well as is he worth a stash on a deep bench? Thanks as always, Joe." You know what? I think I heard that he did turn his retirement papers in, which makes it difficult to come back. Not impossible, but but difficult.
I'm sure he could be back in like 3 seconds if the right phone calls are made.
I don't know if he comes back. Does he have to be a Seahawk? Is he a free agent? What's the deal? Was his contract up? What's the deal? Either way, I don't know. Is he worth a stash on a deep bench? Yes, because if he comes back to play, he's an automatic beast because he retired relatively young. So I would play him. I'd pick him up, honestly.
I mean, sure, he's worth a stash, but he's not. I think that's far-fetched. Is the point I'm trying to make.
What, him coming back or playing him?
Yeah, him doing anything in the NFL again.
Y'all need to work on y'all people skills.
Do-Rock says, "Greetings, gents. Do-Rock 42 here. Kevin, good game last week."
Thanks.
Did you whoop him?
I think I did.
Or did he whoop you?
No, it was a money league. I think he took me out.
"I have some hard decisions this week. Perhaps you can give me some insight. All leagues are half peeper. League A, after Gurley's miserable performance against San Francisco, and now he plays against Seattle. Which one running back do I start? Gurley, Forsett, Hill, C-Mike, Moncrief at Denver is my flex."
Forsett, it's Foster, dude.
Huh? Oh, Foster, sorry. Either way. It's still dumb because you play Gurley, right?
You do play Gurley. I think, is it him or is he looking for another one besides
No.
Gurley?
He says, which one RB do I start?
Yeah, you start Gurley.
Yeah, you start Gurley. Yeah. League C, need 2 running backs. Forte, Jennings, J. Stu, Langford, C-Mike. Landry at New England is my flex, projected to outscore. Don't listen to projections. But I can still sit him for one of these guys if it's a better choice. If it's a PPR, you don't sit him. So Forte is definitely a start.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
Jennings, man. It's against New Orleans, which I like.
I might start J. Stu there instead of Jennings, dude.
I was thinking Langford.
By the way, no, you don't want to sit Moncrief for any of your
no.
running back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think J. Stu or Langford would be better for me than Jennings. The matchup is good for Jennings, but I think J. Stu and Langford will do better
against New Orleans, man. I don't know. That's hard for me. I think I would stick with J. Stu or Jennings or roll Langford. I don't think I would play J. Stu. Don't trust him.
You have a J. Stu blind spot.
I do. I have a problem with him, yeah.
So, I would take Jennings out and put J. Stu.
All right, League F. Which wide receiver do I sit? Flex is already taken by Cam. Marshall, Landry, or Fitz? Sit one. Holy hell.
Is it PPR?
It's actually pretty easy. You sit Landry.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, that's tough, though.
Even if it's a PPR.
You still sit Landry.
You do.
Yeah, many thanks. Here's a letter from the princess. Oh. Well, okay.
Okay. It's cosplay Drago punching Rocky.
And then cosplay
Wonder Woman and Batman.
It's the greatest Batman outfit ever.
It is, man. It's awesome.
Jesus.
Do appreciate that.
Wonder Woman's not bad, but...
No.
That Batman's kind of silly.
NYG Boys 72 says, all one PPR. How do I get Woodhead into my lineup? AJ Green and Decker are currently my wide receiver 1 and 2. Landry's in my flex. Have Woodhead, Snead, Benjamin, and Cruz on the bench. What's the right play here? David Johnson and Ezekiel Elliott are my running back spots. So how does he get Woodhead in there? Obviously, you're not going to sit, you're not going to sit Decker or AJ Green or Landry in this PPR. David Johnson and Ezekiel Elliott are better running backs altogether. So what do you do to get Woodhead in? Maybe you put Landry in and take Decker out and put Woodhead in the flex, but
Maybe.
that would be the only way I would do it. I'm not going to sit Elliott or Johnson at this point.
I wouldn't say Elliott yet, but he's getting close. I mean,
Wow, dude, he had a game. Give him a chance.
I know, but Woodhead's had a year and now a game where he's a dynamo in PPRs. So he's getting to a point where, sure, Elliott might be good, but Woodhead's just clearly better.
Yeah, I want to see Elliott's
too.
second game,
Me too.
and then you make those decisions. So,
too.
Decker would be the guy low on the totem pole to move
He's
there.
got Snead, Benjamin, and Cruz on the bench, too.
Yeah, I know.
It's gross. Yeah, I hate people like you that
To have all these great players.
Yeah, some guys have all the luck, Kevin.
Stafford or Tyrod?
I play Stafford this week. He was good enough last week to give him the bump over. Listen, Tyrod's not a top tier, right? He's just got high upside. So I would play Stafford over him.
There you go. Macklin, Manny Sanders, or Will Fuller? These are all
Fuller's out of the conversation.
This is a 1 point PPR.
Really close for me, Macklin and Sanders.
I'd probably go Macklin just on the experience of the quarterback and the offense they play in. I love Manny Sanders, but I'm not sure about Simeon.
Sure, yeah, okay. I'll buy that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look for a reason between evenly
I'll buy
matched
that.
guys, that would be one of them.
I'll buy
Thanks for
that.
the help as always, guys. Love the extra shows during the week. We love doing them. Damn it.
F you.
What?
I was talking to you, Kevin.
Oh, okay.
Anthony says, "Hi guys,
Anthony.
first year listener, love the show. Who to start? One peeper, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, 2 running backs, and a Fliz X. He's got Moncrief, Deshaun Jackson, or Crabtree in the flex. I would play Crabtree against Atlanta. Do you disagree?
I don't know, man. There's a picture here, and there's somebody in the shower, but I don't know if I...
Is it a trap?
No, it's somebody holding a baby. Thank
Is it a
God.
tarp? Is it a tarp? Oh God! It's a huge picture. We had to scroll. Oh, okay. It's you and your kid. Okay,
That's
good.
beautiful.
Thought it might have been a tarp, dude.
Dude, I saw a shower and I saw like a
We have
bare
people
arm.
send us some pictures sometimes that we should not look at.
Nobody should look at.
No. Anyway, flex. Great picture, by the way, dude. And no offense. One time we yelled at a dude because they had a crystal doorknob, and he never wrote back to us.
Yeah. Nice doorknob, asshat.
Yeah, we were. We just went off about how rich he was because he had a crystal doorknob. It was totally in the background of the picture, too. Anyway, he never wrote back. It was a totally normal-looking house, too. It's not like the dude was rich.
Yeah, we're just idiots.
Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, we're not trying to scare you off is the point. So, yeah, we were just concerned that there might be, some naked stuff going on there that we shouldn't look at or just a total trap. Anyway, so Moncrief, Deshaun Jackson, Crabtree. I'm playing Crabtree.
Yeah,
It's a peeper
dude, really? Crabtree?
against Atlanta.
I do like Jackson this week.
Me too.
He's a sneaky flex, but
too.
Crabtree,
Moncrief against
that
Denver.
matchup.
They were number 1 against wide receivers last year. Jackson, he does step up, but he's not typically a PPR monster. Crabtree's my guy.
Moncrief
Disagree?
played pretty well.
He did.
And Cam actually had success against Denver last
I know,
week.
but it's still. This is my rationale. Feel free to pick somebody else.
The Atlanta, the Raiders Atlanta game is going to be a shootout of massive proportions.
That's what I'm saying.
So yeah, I don't mind Crabtree there.
He needs 2 wide receivers though, but I'm assuming he just says flex though, so I don't know what that means. Anyway, running backs. He needs 2 of these, I guess. So Ware, Martin, J. Stu, and Langford. Well, the thing is, if Charles comes back, Ware's value goes way down to nothing, basically. So
well, it did last year.
So it'd be Martin and Langford for me.
Did it? Yeah. Anyway, if Charles is coming back this week, Martin and Langford.
If not, it's Ware and Martin.
Yeah, you just hate J. Stu this week, don't you?
Well, J. Stu's not playing Carolina, first of all.
Well, I think that was a typo.
Yeah.
But
I don't hate J. Stu this week. I don't hate J. Stu ever. I just don't think he's as good as Doug Martin or Ware or even Langford. I don't. I really don't. He's okay. He's a flex running back. He's never been anything more than that.
Well, maybe.
Do you disagree?
Well, I think he has been better than a flex, but consistently
In a game or two.
Yeah, consistently.
Who's a better running back, D'Angelo Williams or Jonathan Stewart?
Are we still back to that?
I'm just asking you.
Well, dude, obviously D'Angelo Williams.
Okay, so like the number one running back in the NFL right now.
For Christ's sake! All right, let's go, man. Come on.
I really bought into your philosophy of not drafting a tight end or quarterback early. As a result, I got Julius Thomas, love it, and Bortles, love it.
Nice.
Also scored 148 points this week. Thanks for the help. Here's me and my son in his first Packers Sunday.
See, if we'd
just read that,
we didn't
wouldn't
read
have
that.
had a problem.
See, I just scrolled down and I see a shower and a selfie. So I'm like, what?
It's a giant picture, but it's actually a super cute picture.
It's a very, very cute picture.
Yeah.
So we're getting close to the end.
Yeah, rock one more and then let's close her out. This guy actually, I just got him into the forum today.
Cool.
He was having trouble with his login.
So if we don't get to your question tonight, Lyle's going to be rolling the question show tomorrow night. It's called a Twitter show. So
I'm going to answer all the
You
questions.
can tweet your stuff in, but he's got emails and he's got the rest of the forum to do. Yeah. And whatever we don't get to, we'll just hit on Saturday if we can. So
That's right.
We'll get to him as we can.
That's right.
So if we don't get to it now, don't be alarmed.
Yeah, we'll answer them Saturday, or you can call in Saturday, or
don't be distraught.
We might answer some via Twitter. Oh, you didn't answer that one. I told you to do that last one.
No.
Do that last one. Guy just got into the forum today. Come on.
Oh, what was it? Snee?
Snee.
All right, Snee. Hey, guys, Standard League, Freeman versus Oak or Abdullah versus Tennessee this week. I got to go Freeman.
Me too.
Both in a timeshare, but Abdullah looked more explosive last week. He did, but Tennessee shut down Adrian Peterson, dude. So I'm a little concerned about that defense.
Oak is a little looser. Devontae Freeman's pretty good. I'm not willing to give up on him yet. You know, one of the top running backs last year early versus a guy who was mediocre.
Yeah.
At best.
So he says, am I crazy? Well, no. Craziness doesn't really enter into it. No. I would sit Abdullah for Freeman, though, this week. Unless you have, if you have Abdullah and not Freeman, then yeah, I have a situation where I'm playing Abdullah because he's my best option.
I don't hate that, but I would play Freeman over Abdullah.
Freeman over Abdullah, absolutely. Thanks for the mediocre advice. Keep up the great work.
First post, we're already mediocre.
Yeah, we were mediocre long before Sneeze knew he existed.
What we do, bitches.
All right. So, so what are you going to do if somebody wants to tweet you a question overnight and have it be on the show? You want to give them a hashtag to put on it?
Put hashtag Ask Lyle, TFFG something. I don't know.
Well, you got to tell them what to do, man.
It doesn't matter. Just tweet us and I'll freaking answer it.
No, he could do that.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Let's ride.
Well,
TFFG.
You are kind of an asshat. You may not quite figure it out right.
Maybe I won't. Then we'll do them on Saturday. I probably won't get to all the questions. We got like 1,000 of them.
Yeah. We have a lot of questions.
We do.
And you know what? On Sunday morning, I generally roll through and answer the questions.
I try to too. Yeah.
We try to answer them all, man. We try to do it.
We try. Like Pokemon, bitches. Try to catch them all.
Yeah.
Try to answer them all.
Took me a second. I'm like,
yeah. You're like, what?
You still playing Go?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me too. My boys are both like, yeah, that's old, Dad.
Dude,
I'm like,
I love
it's 2 weeks old.
Love
I'm like,
well, I gotta walk my dog every day.
Yeah.
So I just pop it open when I'm walking the dog.
So I take Jamie to baseball session.
I Raichu the other day.
What's that?
Raichu.
Nice. So I pull out of Jamie's baseball session. I make the turn going the other way. He's like, where are you going? I'm like, it's Pokestop down here by this water tower. He's like, geez, Dad.
He's like, yeah. By the way, Odessa.
Yeah.
3 Pokestops were right next to each other.
Dude, you know what I love?
Poplar Wars.
Pokestop right in Two-Stone.
Is there really?
There's a Two-Stone Pokestop.
See?
So I drop in there.
It's not fair. There's one in the mall, too, right at JB Dawson's.
I drop into Two-Stone, order a beer, throw a little potion around there.
Lure down,
put a
little
lure in
down.
there. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're real geeky. Yeah. In case you didn't know.
That's fun, man. It is fun.
People are like, you playing that game?
Stupid
I'm like,
Pidgeys.
Yeah, Rattatas.
Shut Pidgeys.
All right, we're out, bitches. Have a good week. And we'll talk to you tomorrow and Saturday. See you. We're out.
All right, bitches.
Bye. Bye, video people.